My name is Nick Santaniello. I'm a software engineer. I work for Giphy. I'm also a board member of Death by Audio Arcade, and I've been a part of the group since 2013. I develop games under the label ROBYSOFT, and I focus primarily on the arcade format and local multiplayer games. I originally made Powerboat Italia 88 as entry for the Global Game Jam in 2012. It's a local multiplayer button mashing boat racing game. You alternate two buttons to go faster. You hit a third jump button to jump over timed hurdles, and you also have a joystick to cut off other players. And it's a quick 1-2 minute 4-player game. And it's the first arcade game I've ever produced in one of Death by Audio Arcade's first arcade cabinets. Weirdly, it was actually originally an iPad game. I thought the iPads were going to get bigger and we'd use them sort of as interactive game boards and people could sort of play party games around them. And while that's something you certainly can do, the game never really worked in that way. People were sliding the iPad all around. There was no feedback for the presses. The screen was too small for 4 people to crowd around. But it wasn't until I went to the Deathmatch by Audio Field One Crystal Brawl party where my eyes were totally open. That wow, the arcade format is not just a nostalgic gimmick. It's not obsolete. This is can be a contemporary format for video games, particularly local multiplayer games. Just the opportunity to design a arcade cabinet, not just visually, but in terms of how the controls are placed, what controls are placed. Are there instructions? Are there other physical affordances that suggest to the player how to interact with it? Is such a really cool part of the creative process that's totally absent in designing a digital game. Powerboat kind of had new life on the arcade format because the visceral activity of standing shoulder to shoulder with 3 other people and mashing the fastest and the best of your ability, 2 really nice juicy clicky buttons to gain speed proved strangely addictive. So Volleygon is named such because it's the game of polygon volleyball, and it is a 2 to 4 player sport where 2 teams of polygons sort of jump and try to headbutt a ball over a primitive net. So it looks visually sort of like Pong, but it plays much more like the classic game, Flash game, Slime Volleyball. Slime Volleyball had 2 semicircles sort of headbutting a ball over a net, and it approximated the physics of such, so it was always unpredictable. And Volleygon takes that concept to sort of a contemporary 4-player conclusion where not only can you choose other shapes that have their own unique physics properties, but you can change your local gravity and run along the ceiling of the arena. And the ball itself can also change gravity. So I was really trying to make a game that, again, was super easy to grasp and to play, but had a lot more possible styles of play, higher skill ceiling than Powerboat Italia 88. I like to focus, I think, on these type of games where people walk up and play a few minutes with a group. That's the kind of game I grew up with, and my fondest video game memories are of playing with other people. At the heart of it, it's about the gameplay. And if the game feels like an extension of you, you're able to express yourself in the world of the game. I think it's fascinating to watch people play these games, whether they love them or hate them or are totally indifferent. First, when these games have the price removed, when there's no coin door or no fee to play, people are so much more eager and feel so much more invited to approach the machine and to investigate it and to give it a try. And I think that's been huge, the freedom we've had to present these as free or as just public interactive art. Half the people who play treat the machine as if it were a commercial product. They might smack on it hard. We've had graffiti and tagging on some of our cabinets, treated very roughly, dismissively. And I've learned to take that as a compliment because that means the resulting product doesn't look DIY or it doesn't feel like somebody's semester final or whatever. It's they're in their mind, they don't see a difference between a dig dug cabinet and a kung fu kickball cabinet, and I think that's really cool. And the other portion of players I've seen, they're interested in how it's created, what's going on behind the scenes, all the little details. I think it's a great way to get people interested in maybe not game creation per se, but interactive art or creating with technology. And we're only really just scratching the surface on that. I mean, there's a whole part of the group that loves alt control games and explores that. I'm not confined to a traditional layout. I can put any number of buttons, levers, switches, analog or digital input devices. It could be 3 dials. It could be tank style joysticks. It could be, you could even have a microphone or any other sort of analog or digital sensor. There's some events that I treasure, such as arcade co-op and playtest night, where aspiring developers and designers bring their project in progress and show the community and get feedback, or just have fun and gain inspiration from looking at other people's projects. I mean, if you bring someone to Wonderville, even if don't consider themselves a game or a part of video game culture, and you can put your arm around them, or pre-COVID times, and show them around and say, oh, I really like this one, or I think you'd like that one, and you can kind of explain the premise or show other people playing. There's so many more tools to make the experience inviting or interesting. So to have a place that's fun and inviting and inclusive and friendly, and where you can walk in and just explore at your own pace and have access to the community and the developers to answer any questions or to interact with or to invite you into the hobby as a creator or a player, is just such a blessing. And I really can't imagine it being the same without it. And Wonderville has just been, it's our nirvana. It's a place where we can all gather and work and store and present these works and continue to do new creations. And if you'd like to see my work, you can go to ROBYSOFT, ROBYSOFT.net, and reach out to me if you want to collaborate or ask me anything. Other than that, I would say bid on some of the awesome swag and merch and tchotchkes and other prizes that we have in the auction. And if you haven't been to Wonderville or any of DBA's events, come through when they're back, or participate digitally, and just speak up and join the community in Discord or online or anywhere you can.